Hello, my name is Sarah Krauskopf, and I am one of the writers who worked on the biology course for Open Science. And I'm going to do a brief introduction to Biology Unit 1, which is the one you're going to be spending time on for the rest of this course. So the title of the unit is How Do Ecosystems Work, and How Can Understanding Them Help Us Protect Them? So this, as was mentioned earlier, is part of a three-course sequence in high school, biology and earth space being first, then chemistry and earth and space being second, and physics plus earth and space being third. So this particular course, ecosystem interactions and dynamics, is extremely important because it really sets the stage for everything else. If your students are coming in not having done open science in middle school, this is the place where they'll learn all the routines. And so sometimes this particular unit can take a little bit longer because you're setting the stage for everything that's going to come later. So over the course of 3 years of Open Science, students will be experiencing all of the performance expectations from the next generation science standards from the NGSS. So we often refer to the performance expectations as PEs. And these are basically just what students are expected to be able to demonstrate understanding on by the end of their learning. And the PEs are divided into 3 areas. The middle one is what we traditionally thought of as science. So this is the content, the disciplinary core idea, or the DCI. But each performance expectation also includes the science and engineering practices, or SEPs. So these are the things that scientists or engineers do in the course of their work. In this case, that's showing you that they're using mathematics and computational thinking. And every performance expectation also includes cross-cutting concepts, or CCCs. And these are ideas that go across all disciplinary areas, all domains of science. So for example, in this case, cause and effect is something that you're always looking at in science. What's causing something? What's the effect of something that happens? So for this unit that you're going to be learning about, the ecosystems unit, B1, there are a large number of PEs that are going to be covered, and I want to just give you a little bit of time to read them to yourself. So you see a number of these have to do with ecosystems and different scales. And I just want to point out that if there is a star by something, that means that this particular performance expectation is not only covered in this unit, but it will also be covered again later on in the biology course. If you see the other symbol, that means that it will be revisited either in chemistry and/or physics. Here are some additional PEs for the unit, so let's give you some time to read. So you'll see they're not only life science PEs in here, but there are also some earth science and some technology standards as well, engineering and technology standards. So again, we are not only doing the science content, the DCIs, but we're also doing the science and engineering practices and the cross-cutting concepts. And in each of our units, we really intentionally develop only a few of those each time so that students really have a chance to develop them and understand how to use them well. So in this unit, they are developing and using models. This is very important to all Open Science units, so it's really important here that we help them understand how to create models, how to use models, how to revise models as they gain additional information. They're also using mathematics and computational thinking, and they are building their ability to construct explanations using evidence. So that's something we practice multiple times. We are also intentionally developing cross-cutting concepts of stability and change. and systems and system models. So again, we're looking at changes in ecosystems over time and how does that affect population size. So there are going to be changes in population, and we use a lot of models and think about systems and connections as we are doing this. So these are the 5 items that we're very intentionally developing. That does not mean that there won't be other SEPs or CCCs involved, but we are focusing on those particular practices. So again, the PEs are very broad NGSS language of what's being covered. And because we are putting all this information in a particular context, we also have what are called LLPEs, or lesson level performance expectations. And so every lesson has more specific expectations for what students should be able to do by the end of the lesson. There is normally at least 1 LLPE per day in the course. So here's an example of one from lesson 1, which you will be experiencing soon. And it says, ask questions to clarify or seek information about what causes humans to protect ecosystem functioning and productivity, and what the effects of the protection are. And so you'll see there's which SEP, DCI, and CCC are covered in this. And it is color coded as well. The science and engineering practices are always in blue, so you know how students are doing something. So in this case, we want them to ask questions. They're going to be trying to figure out the kinds of investigations they could do or who they might go to answer those questions. They will be looking at the content will be this disciplinary core idea where they're looking at how humans protect ecosystem functioning and productivity. So they're thinking about what is the relationship between humans and what's happening in ecosystems, and how are humans part of these ecosystems. And then they're going to be focusing on cause and effect. So what might humans do that could cause some changes in the ecosystem or protect the ecosystem are the kinds of things they'll be looking at. So if you're interested, we will be providing whatever you need during the course, but of course, eventually you're going to want to download this information for yourself, and it is all free for you to use. So every unit provides a large variety of materials. We have the teacher guides, which has the kind of step-by-step suggested instructions for how to use the materials. It contains keys that you might need, the assessment information, other guidance that for additional resources or background information. There are student-facing slides. These are Google Docs, and so you can modify them if you need to meet the needs of your students. All of these are also in the process of being translated into Spanish, so there are also slides available in Spanish for many of the units, including B1. And then there's this unit storyline, which is very helpful if you want just in a couple pages and a reminder of or an overview of what you're going to be doing in each lesson and how you navigate from lesson to lesson. There's also more significant background information available about how this fits into the context of the whole course. In terms of what the students will use, there are what we call student consumables. These are handouts that you might give them. They're going to be writing on and filling in, and so they will use them and have their own copy. These will be added to a notebook, which we will explain in more detail in the instructions for Unit 1, but basically it's a 3-ring binder where students have loose leaf paper, and then they add all of these handouts that they get to that binder and have everything in one place. And then there are what we call student non-consumables. These are references that you might be able to hand out and have students reuse from, if you have multiple sections, like you can hand it out in section 1 and they can also use it in section 2 because students aren't writing on it. So it might be procedures or reference data that they can use multiple times, or you can use multiple times as an instructor. So if you would like to download these materials, they are open source, they're available for free. You can go to opensyed.org and create a free account to access the materials. This does not mean you're going to get on a lot of mailing lists. We don't sell your information. Then you want to navigate to the high school curriculum, and you can either examine the materials or you can download them depending on where you are in the process. So let me just show you what that site looks like. So I've already logged in, but this is what the site will look like when you go in, and you can either explore the curriculum down at the bottom here, or up at the top, you can choose to look at the high school curriculum. And then you can click on the instructional materials if you want to look at those. In this case, we're looking at biology and we are looking at Unit 1. So if you click on Unit 1 for ecosystem interactions and dynamics, then you will have a summary of the entire unit that's listed here. But really what you want to do in this case is go to download this unit. And then you have two options. You can use, we have Google versions available and we have PDF versions available. An easy way to preview the unit is just to click on preview the unit in Google Drive. And then you will get a list, like this will basically just be all the files that we're going to have. And so you'll go in here and you have access to all of the files that are part of the unit. So there are both English and Spanish versions available in this case. So you have all the handouts, all of the readings, you have all the slides that are available. So this is there for you to take. And because they're all Google Docs, you can make copies and you can modify them in whatever way is useful to you.